About to start. Sahana and all is good, Raghuranji? Sahana and all is good?
Yeah.
Nice. How was Janami, Janaki? She said 10 books for me, she asked me.
Yeah.
I see that it is Yoga Bharati publication. It was very good, huh?
I gave her 10 books.
She had written to me that we have taken. It was very nicely done.
Yeah.
She said she's part of the group.
Went on very nice.
Oh,
Program was very good.
very good, very good. But by the time you reached home, when was it? It is very
I reached actually Shanti.
Next time.
Shastri's friend also came, so we had lunch, dinner there.
Oh,
That we started only at
he's also
11:30.
there in Malleshwaram.
Yeah.
Oh,
11:30
nice then.
Started.
Okay.
Then I reached. Yesterday morning, 5 o'clock I started.
Oh my God,
5:30.
I reached.
Reached at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I thought so because
Yeah.
Malleshwaram, everything Laddu.
But before that, I had,
Oh.
a chair.
Yeah.
See,
How was it?
morning-
Actually, you said it was very good. Nice.
See, morning, actually, I had satsang, Detroit, 5:30 to 7. That I finished, and then 7:30 I left for HAL. Reached exactly at 9 o'clock. Program started.
Finished by lunch.
Finished by one lunch.
Oh,
2 o'clock I started from there, and then went to Malaysia.
ma. Oh.
Malaysia, stayed I was in Shastri's house. Then the program started.
Okay.
We had dinner, left at 11:30 or so.
Oh, ma. What a fruitful day. We had satsang, then nice visual treat. Oh, we'll start. We'll start, okay?
Recording is there. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavai Shanti. Like the way that I was telling about the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Sutra Gita about yoga, and then later on sutras have come. So that means to say, whatever that is there in the nature, the sutras are something which will give the essence of what is there in the nature. Like the way geometry sutras were there and then come, because geometry was there in the nature. In fact, that way when you go, it's much more interesting to think of it that, you see, Sanatana means that it is, Puratana means it's ancient. Sanatana means it's ever existing. It's not ancient, it is ever existing. That means it is good at all times. Why it exists? It is good at all times. If it is not good, then it will go obsolete. It's a very simple logic. Not only good at all times, but also it is dharma, Sanatana dharma per se. Dharma means its nature. Now you put these together, that fire burns as a dharma of the fire, ever existing. It's always there. At one point of time, fire used to burn, but now today it doesn't burn. That doesn't happen. It's always there. So therefore, Sanatana dharma. There's another thing also. The dharma, whether you burn the fire in India, it burns. You fire it in America, it burns. Anywhere it burns. That's the same thing. That means though Indians have said it does not mean it belongs to this particular culture. It belongs to mankind. Similarly, geometry belongs to mankind. Yoga belongs to mankind. When yoga belongs to mankind, then fire burning belongs to the mankind. Then Sanatana Dharma also belongs to mankind. Though this particular land is given, but the Sanatana Dharma belongs to the whole of mankind. Now, slowly people are realizing that these ideas are there in far-off countries. And South America, that they find connections with these things, and Turkey recent earthquake has brought about a temple. So it looks like that this Sanatana Dharma, it is not that when we say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, it's not that we have to make something. It is there like that. So Sanatana means it's ever existing. Sanatana means it applies to everybody at all times. And that is what we are talking about, Sanatana. And Dharma, it is its nature, the way it is. So this whole idea of all these things belong to Sanatana Dharma. In that way, Bhakti also belongs to Sanatana Dharma. That means it is throughout the creation, at every point of time, it was there. It was there. So whatever that is there, and then sutras are written based on that. Like the way, whatever that was there in the form of yoga, sutras are written based on that. Whatever that was there in geometry, sutras are written by Euclid in the form of geometrical sutras. The same way, bhakti or the whatever these ideas of bhakti were practiced all over the world itself. In every culture, every religion must have been there. Only thing is, Narada put them in the form of sutras. So that means to say the sutras when we study Narada, it is not with respect to our culture, our place, our district. It universal it should be. Only thing is because we are familiar with our culture, we give the examples from this culture or a few here and there because my contact goes to various other cultures also to some degree. Therefore, I can also quote some of those examples for that. But then particularly in the case of bhakti, it is very important to quote these examples because we will come again and again later this particular idea that you cannot explain these things like the way any other mechanical details that you explain, you cannot explain it. Anirvachaniyam prema swarupam, it is unexplainable. That means to say, in fact, many times even expression is given, words can reach only some distance. After that, beyond that is what this whole Shastra is all about. And do we have anything like that beyond what the world can experience, words can experience? We have plenty of them. Like, for example, you go to the beach and then can you go to a beach? Wow, it's so beautiful, so wonderful. So can you bring something that beautiful, say, sunrise or sunset in the beach? I can come, I can empty box, I can bring it and then say, well, this is like this. And that doesn't give that idea. Have to go there, just see. Okay, can you explain it? You can't even explain it. So therefore, that you know that your own experiences are there, where it is beyond that you can explain. So hardly you can talk about these things. Reason for that is that you're talking, you're explaining your words, everything has a limitations at the level of intellect. And whatever that bhakti we think of is something which is beyond the intellect. That is one thing very sure. And imagine that Narada is writing a whole thing which is based of words of something which cannot be explained in words. It's an extraordinary, wonderful effort that he has put. That's what is the importance of Narada Sutra. Why Narada did it? Because the last time also people were questioning, what is the importance of Narada? Tell something about Narada. Narada is one character that you come across everywhere in all the Puranas, everywhere. In fact, another 1,000 years later also, then people write stories saying that Narada used to come to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, etc., etc. Oh, these things can happen. Because Narada is a character which you can replicate anywhere. It's not just one individual, it's a character which can replicate. Like the way that Vyasa is a character that can be replicated anywhere. So we have several Vyasas. given various ideas and all that. You don't take by one particular individual. These are certain people who you don't take by individual, but take by the character that is there. In order to project a character that you bring that person, like the way that in my talks I bring about Allah Mullah Nasruddin. Just you bring it. But whether he was there or not is not important. But what is the message that he communicates is important. And it so happened in Prashanti like that, while giving one of my talks, I said, a colleague of mine, we were all sitting together for lunch, and then his name is Mullah Nasruddin. And then the whole story went on. At the end of it, everybody liked it. And then somebody from the audience, he came to me and said, Raghuramji, what you have explained is very beautiful, very nice. I liked it. But who is that Mullah who was there in our colleague? Because I see that fellow is my colleague in my office. He never met. I said, suppose you are the Mullah, a simple example like that. So these are the things which we should take it that way. Why the Narada suits that character? Because the Narada is one thing extraordinary. He is a friend of gods, and he's also a friend of demons. He can go very easily to this thing, Prahlada, and the equal facility will go to Hiranyakashipa. Hiranyakashipa is offended by Narada, and Prahlada is not affected by Narada. Both of them feel that Narada helped them. See, that's a kind of game that he plays. But much more important thing is, Narada is somebody who has a deep knowledge also. See, it is not without the knowledge that he's going. He has a very deep knowledge. That's why we have the examples that Narada is supposed to be Brahma Manasaputra. See, the idea of Brahma Manasaputra is that they are born along with Brahman. That means first creation kind of a thing. They don't have anything like that, a normal, regular birth and all that. That is not there. And then he goes to his own brothers, Sanat Kumaras. A very beautiful question that he asked. He says that I read everything, I know everything. Rugadhyemi, Samadhyemi, Kshatra Vidya Madhyemi, Nakshatra Vidya Madhyemi. I've learned everything. All Shastras I know. Sanandana Sanatkumara, Sanasujati is four. I mean, not Rishi Sanak today, but then Sanak. So these people that Narada goes to them, and Narada, when he goes, they give a beautiful answer. They're saying that none of these things will take away your misery. Whether it is Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Kshatraveda, Nakshatra, none of these can take away your misery. And he says that all these things, if I learned, in spite of it, I'm miserable. That means only thing that your misery can be crossed is Shokam Tarati Atmavitu. Only by experiencing Atma Sthiti, your natural state, then only you can come out of Shoka. Or you put it the other way around. Whenever you are free from, see that all the miseries go away, at that point of time, you look at it, you are in a state of love. You are in a state of self. I'm very satisfied. But things happened. See the sense of satisfaction, the sense of love, all those things are there when you touch yourself. That's what Narada had that experience again and again. And not only that, this self that we are talking about, Atmavitu, is not the ego. It is freedom from ego. That's the reason why there are so many examples where Narada interferes, because there is some iota of ego, there is some shade of ego is there, which they don't even realize, and then he removes that. He takes away that. That's why last time I was giving the example of Sri Krishna Tulavaram. See, Krishna's wife, that's what is Satyabhama, and she was arrogant because she is Krishna. Krishna was not arrogant of himself, but Krishna's wife was arrogant of her position. And that has to be conquered. So therefore, that Narada comes there and says that, look, your husband you have to keep under control, and this fellow is, he is a flamboyant fellow. You have to keep him under control. How to do that? Then you do some yaga, yajna. In that yajna, that you give dana. Not much, Krishna's weight is there, equal to that gold that you give it away. So that then you are buying Krishna. Once you buy, he is your slave. See, a simple trick that he gives. And then she believes in that idea. Okay. So he does some ritual, something like that, and then Krishna is put on sale on the this thing, balance. And then you put any amount of gold, any amount of thing, it will not just budge. And then she put everything. Now she's in misery. And now he says, I can't help it. I gave you this solution. But if it doesn't work, I can't help it. But then what is the solution? The solution is that whoever bids for that, Krishna will get it. And then you touch their feet and beg them. So give it Krishna. So now you look at the second level. Then he comes whoever, but who will come forward when he could not do it? Then he goes to Rukmini. That's her. The Krishna's another. He says, come on, you go. And then Rukmini, with that total love, she puts only the tulsi leaf and then the whole thing. And that was the miserable state for Satyabhama. See, what a beautiful trick that he plays. Maybe story, doesn't matter. But the whole idea is to see that you conquer your ego. The message. Everywhere that you see, Narada has given a message of that particular type. Because that he gives a message based on the emotions to cut down the ego of the people. That's why Narada is the fit author for this particular book. Whoever might have written can give the name of Narada, that's fine, it doesn't matter. So let's not look at when Narada existed and whether he really existed or not, doesn't even bother about it. But the message is something which is very clear. So therefore, that the whole idea of Bhakti Sutra is attributed to Narada. And later on also, he is very subtle about that idea that he is free from ego. Because at one particular sutra, we will come across later on, he says that he did not say that I feel like this. When he says, a sutra says, Naradastu tadarpikalarta tadvismanepa. Narada feels like that. As if the person who is saying different from Narada is separated himself from Narada. It's so abundantly clear there. It's like the way Swami Ramtirtha, he was going in New York streets, and then Yerwa cloth and all those things, somebody walks in New York street, they don't, those days people don't understand that. So they used to throw stones at him, they beaten them, and then they put some, they beaten him with some tomatoes, this and that, they made it. And then somehow somebody saved him and then brought him. He was laughing. He said, why are you laughing? Oh, I'm really enjoying. I said, what are you enjoying? He said, wow, today Ram is beaten so hard. He said, who is that Ram? This Ram. Oh, you are that Ram? No. I'm watching it. Ram is being beaten. Oh, nice tomatoes and all that. They hit him. Oh, I was enjoying it. He could see that difference between that. He could be a witness actually. He was not identified with that. That means to say, this body, this thing, there is no ego in that. But in the same story of how subtly that will be there in the case of Ramtirtha, another story is there, which shows that how subtly it enters into. Ramtirtha was a sannyasi. Actually, before that, he was a professor of mathematics in Lahore, and then a very young fellow, actually 32 years, 34 years, that he took sannyasa, came out. After he came out, then he left his wife, and then he went around and all those things. And then he had another disciple with him, Puran Singh. Puran Singh is also from Punjab, and he was also from Punjab has produced very few such great saints like Ramtirtha. And Puran Singh was there with him, and then they were sitting in their room, Lahore, and then desk is there, and then Ramtirtha is writing something at the desk. And suddenly he looked through the window and closed the window, shutters. Puran Singh was down there doing something. He said, why did you close the window? Because there's only one window in this room and then there's no light. I'm doing something, open the window. No, I did not close. Arey, you closed it. Why did you close it? There's nothing. No, there was some reason why you have closed it. Puran Singh got suspicious about it. Then he got up and saw through the window. And then he found out that in front of the window, the street, Ramtir's wife is coming, ex-wife. Now he is actually given sannyasa, taken sannyasa, and then he's not with, she's not. And then so she's coming, so he closed the door. Because your ex-wife is coming, so you, no, she has nothing to do with you. Arey, what is that you say nothing to do with you? So many girls come, ladies come here, and then you never close the window. But when she is coming, you close the window. That means in her mind, she's still your wife. You're not given up. Wow. That was a revelation for him. That day, beautiful thing is, he gave sannyasa to sannyasa. He is not wearing any more gerwa clothes. He was wearing white dress. Later on, pictures are there of Swami Ramtir who were there in the white. And then actually in the white cloth that he went to Ganga and there he died. So that means to say how subtly that me and mine and I will be there. Even a person like Ramtir was so extraordinary. So this Narada is something who hits at that level. That's the reason why attributed this Bhakti Sutras to Narada. Because the simple reason is that Bhakti Sutras are the texts or the path where right from the beginning the blow is on the ego. Right from the beginning. That's why it is said that all the other parts of yoga, you try to dissolve the, you try to slow down your mind, calm down your mind, and this and that, and then go to Samadhi Sthiti, and Samadhi Sthiti is where there is, all those things, then ego cannot be there. Or in my understanding is not right, who am I? So therefore you try to question, who am I, and all those things, and whatever that I is there, that you just purify it by your knowledge, improve your knowledge, so that wisdom will throw away that your I. That's what is Jnana Yoga. That's Raj Yoga and that's Jnana Yoga. Similarly, Karma Yoga. That means wherever I do the work, then there's always this, I do the work and the result and everything comes into the way. I start slowly giving up all those things. And that's how basically, ultimately, finally, that I will have to give. Ego giving up is at the last stage. Ego dissolves sometimes. Ego it gives it. Whereas in Bhakti, it is not the question of my work is wrong. It's not the question of my understanding is not correct. It's not the question of my discipline is not enough. But the question is, I am wrong. Dissolve I itself in the first place. So it starts with the idea of dissolving the I. But now the question is that where is that I getting dissolved? What is the way that I getting dissolved? It's another thing. I say, all right, I dissolved. How do you say that I is dissolved? You need to really become very, very sensitive to understand where all this I stays, in what form this I stays, and that has to be dissolved. That's something which is extraordinary. Now you look at all these things, when you see this way, how intricate this bhakti path, how subtle, how slippery this bhakti path, very difficult. But then this path is extraordinary because of this culture that more than any other yogis, bhakti yogis, bhaktas are much more than all the outnumber all the yogas, all the yogis. Right, left and middle, we have those bhaktas. The number of Raja yogis, you can count them on the fingers. Number of Jnana yogis is one in a century that you might find. Like, somebody like Nisargadatta Maharaj, and before that there was some J. Krishnamurti, something like that. Similarly, number of Karma yogis, hardly anybody. In fact, even Krishna did not find an example of Karma yogis. He got only, Janaka Ashwalayana, he says two names, that's all. And the third name he had to, Krishna also scratch his head. Whereas Karma Yoga is only so few. But Bhaktas, you see that every nook and corner. You go to any temple in India, then they talk about Bhaktas. Such a way that the stories are so touching. Whether the reality or not, don't worry about it. But the stories are touching. Like, for example, I was somewhere in Belgaum side. And my slippers got broken. So there was roadside shop was there. So I went to the shop, Mochi, that was Papa, shoe repairer. I gave that chappal to repair, and then he was doing that work. Meanwhile, I was just looking at it. It's a small little, that wooden kind of a thing. And there was a calendar on which that there were clothes were there hanging. He put all his clothes and all that other things were there. But when I looked at that calendar, it looked about somebody like a saintly person. Then calendar was there, and then I just moved little that clothes and see who is the saint, what is about, like that. There's a saintly person with a, in ecstasy about Pandarinath. That is on the way to Pandarinath actually. And the very strange thing is that there was a cut on his thigh. Blood was coming out. And he was stitching a chappal, some footwear. Then I asked him, oh, there's something very interesting. Sir, the story is very interesting. He said, what is it? This road leads to Pandharipur. All the bhaktas will go here. There's a bhakta who was going in the summer. There was so much of sun, and then his feet were blistered. He came here to rest. I nursed the blisters and all that. Now further he has to go walk. He doesn't have slippers. And I didn't have the necessary skin in my place. I cut my thigh and then made a slipper out of it and gave it to him. This bhakta, this cobbler did that. Now imagine the bhakti that he had, and unknown bhakta. See, whether somebody did it or not, let's not worry about it. But the very concept that somebody can do like that is the part of this culture. So bhaktas, so many mere number. Not only that, look at the bhaktas. Bhakti is such an extraordinary, wonderful thing. That is, person like Shankaracharya, extraordinary stalwart intellect, went around the whole country. Shankara Digvijayam, you see that, defeated the people and all those things. And then, but at the same time, the moment he went to Kashi, and moment he saw Matana Puraneshwari, at once he is melted and dissolved in Bhakti, saying that Matana Puraneshwari, Bhikshandehi Kripavalam Kare. He goes to Ganga there, then Bhavani, he says that Gatistum Tamaika Bhavani, Najanami Mantram, like that. If Shankaracharya says Najama Tantram, then who else knows about it? That means it becomes so easy. Similarly, we have the example of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, stalwart intellect. At one point of time, his intellect was so extraordinary that he would go around every place in the country, invite all the intellectual people, have discussions, and then beat them, defeat them in the argumentation. That was like that. Particularly, he's come from Nadia district and Parganas, 24 Parganas. They are supposed to be the brainy people. And then he comes from there. It was like this, that wherever he went, the intellectual people used to shiver because of his intellect. When there was a, in his biography that is there, Chaitanya Charitamrita, he has gone to Tanjore also. And when I happened to go to Tanjore along with my group of people to Bangalore, suddenly a crazy idea came to me. I said, these are the streets where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu walked. I was just thinking that if I get one small hint that he was there at this place, somewhere it is written, somewhere it is recorded, I'll feel very satisfied. And then I went to that, Bradishwara temple there. There was a small little stone writing which was there. They said, on this particular year, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited this place. But then the story says that when he went to Tanjore, Tanjore is south in Tamil Nadu, is the most educated people. They're all highly brilliant people. But today, if you look at the settlement in Delhi, half of them are people from Tamil Nadu and Tanjore. These are the kind. So such extraordinary, wonderful people, such really people. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming, they would run away from the door. Nobody was there. Nobody was there to discuss with him because they were afraid of his blazing intellect. And this man, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, went to most illiterate place. And that's what is this thing, what is that? Odisha. Odisha also a most uneducated place, as the way that the people were there from the primitive, and that's what is Badipada. And he went to Badipada, and then when he went there, he saw that people were dancing and jumping with joy and singing bhajan, this and that. Suddenly it occurred to him, look at the way that I am so much intellectual, so much this thing, I have logic and all that. But then I don't have that joy. As these people, uneducated, totally downward, they don't have anything. But then they're jumping with joy, singing and all those things. Suddenly he realized that the burden of intellect was something which is bothering him. Once that thought came, he just gave up all the intellect. He said, now onwards, I'm not intellectualizing anything. And he picked up only mantra. That's what is Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. And then he started singing, dancing. And then people used to dance along with him, jump along with him, whether it is rain, whether it is sun. And then from there, he started walking towards, that is Calcutta, and from there, Navadvip and all that. People were following him. He realized when I had intellect, people were running away from me. When I gave up intellect, everybody follows me. That's what is the power of emotion. So that's what bhakti is all about. Do you mean to say that for bhakta, somebody has to be such an extraordinary stalwart intellect like Shankara or like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? No need. Look at what happened to Narsi Mehta. He was actually a watchman. He was a watchman at a place. But then he started singing bhajans in such a way and forgetting about his duty. And then Hanuman used to stand there, to safeguard that back. He was supposed to be a watchman for the back. So that is what used to happen. That means bhaktas can be some. Mirabai, what is that education she had? He was from a royal family, but right from the beginning that she was in that. Absolutely no knowledge at all, no education at all. But in spite of it, she is such a great saint that even in front of her, even none of these Krishna's wives come anywhere near. That's the kind of reach one can get. Bhaktas can be from anywhere to anywhere, from kings, from queens, all the way to the watchman, and from the educated to uneducated people, from young to old. Look at where various, you think of Prahlada. Such a person can become such a great bhakta. So bhakti seems to be a very easy technique. Bhakti used to be very easy. That's the reason why whatever that is also very difficult to understand. That's a difficult thing. So the most difficult thing, very easily you can slip out of that. And the most important slip out of that, I tell you, is the God himself. God himself is the one who misleads you bhakti. That's it, one has to be very careful about that. Right from the very first sutra, that's where second sutra onwards it starts. Anyway, we'll go into the sutra to see about the God. But before that, very important, first sutra, Atato Bhaktim Vyakhyāsyāmaha. Ataha Bhaktim Vyakhyāsyāmaha. There are two prefaces that he has used. Ataha, now therefore. That means, now means you are making a journey, and in that journey you come to some position. So therefore, now, this position what you are in. Ataha, therefore, that means to say, because that what you are searching for, you might not have got it. Therefore, that I am giving you this. So that means to say your goal is something, purpose is something, and that purpose that you tried, if you have not tried enough, then you continue. He says, don't worry about it, you continue. But if you, the moment that you come to that stage, therefore, that means you are exhausted, now you come to me. It's like the way teacher saying that, come on, you find out an answer for this question. I keep on writing this, that, and all that. Now you give up. So therefore you come to me. Okay? It's like that. Similarly, child in the beginning says that mother, no, because you see mother tying the shoelace, I will shout, tie my shoelace. Mother says, come on, we are getting late. I'll do it. No, I'll do it. And I can't tell anything to the child. You have to be very careful. And the moment you touch the issue, he will cry. Now you can't stop him. You can do anything, but you can never make him stop the crying. Now you have to leave him. And that fellow struggles, this, that, and they put the, just say that way. And after that, the child comes to the mother and says, come on, you do it. He orders. As an authority. Like that. Now, therefore, it looks like that you are already in a journey. You are desperate. And therefore, you have to do. Not your comfort begging. Please understand. Like a child with authority comes, yeah, you gave to him. That's the idea. It includes that subtle way, because later on sutras that this will be useful. Now, what is that we are struggling for? There's one struggle that's going on all the time for everybody. Nobody misses that struggle. That is, we have come from the Brahman, a source, and we have a project to go back to that source. Go home. To go home is our project. It's such an extraordinary, wonderful project. It's not a simple project. You go to all 5-star hotels and go and stay here and there and all those things. And finally, you come back to your simple, ordinary home. Have a nice, wonderful food. Nothing like that. You feel it. The comfort comes from within. And that comfort is not based on any logic. There's no logic. That's a comfort only belongs to soul. Homecoming is that. So we are constantly trying to come home. But then why did we come out of it? We came out of it as a play. Because the moment that you say why, that means there is a level up to which that why comes. Beyond that, there is no why. We need to understand the way that Indian philosophy, our Upanishads talk about it. He says that the Brahman that is there, so Sayekaha, he was there. And he thought, he or she or whatever is the Brahman, wanted to become many. Bhausya Vikshita, wanted to be, wow, nice to be many. And then he became many. It's not because of any compulsion. It's just a wonderful feeling to become many. There is no question of any particular compulsion. Just become. It's a very simple thing. Like, for example, the way that Taittiriya, I look at that Taittiriya Upanishad as such an extraordinary, wonderful tool. Very simply given. He says that he is one, Sayeka, and then he becomes Annavan, Annado Bhavati. That means he becomes hunger, he becomes food. Food belongs to hunger. And now what happens? The moment food and hunger put together, satisfaction. Satisfaction is him. He is satisfied, but then for a moment he came out of it, and the next moment he goes back. This wanting to go back is an urge that is there in all of us. Like the way a river starts its journey on the top of the Himalayas, wanting to go and join the ocean. Because what is ocean? Ocean is a whole lot of river, such a huge, big river that is there, which has no boundaries. You can find river, there are banks. Ocean, you have no banks at all. It's one. So that's what is the urge of the water to go back to the ocean. Similarly, a plant that is there, a bud that is there, is wanting to become a flower. And what is that wanting to become? To see that it can spread. That spread is something which is infinite. Fragrance is the way that the flower wants to become infinite. Wanting to become that infinite. This journey is there in the whole nature itself. What is that? Limited to unlimitedness. The bud is limited, but the moment it becomes flower, the limits are gone. It becomes like spreads everywhere. So that fragrance spreads everywhere. This fragrance spreading is the one That's what flower is there. Inviting everything, being one with everything. This is what is the earth. A raw flower fruit wants to become a ripe one. The moment it becomes a ripe one, you see that it invites every other animal, bird, this, that. Everybody wants to eat. Wow, that's a celebration. I have this, come on, let's all celebrate together. It's a wonderful way. We all want to do that. Every human being. Part of the nature, this is what is the way nature is. And the seed is waiting for it to come out in the form of a plant so that it can spread to the whole world. Number of seeds. It can only spread to the whole world by number of seeds. It's said that one seed of grain is gooder to cover the whole world. Just think of it. And that's what it serves. When you look at the flame constantly goes in the upwards. Lower end is limited. Upper end is the sky. Wants to become one with the sky. This urge is there everywhere in the nature. The same way, that means to say limited to unlimited. We also want constantly struggling to become from limited to unlimited. The child, in the beginning, it is said by child psychologists saying that the child is lying down on the back and then he sees only the sky. And somebody comes near and somebody, oh yeah, somebody has come. Until that time, you don't see that. But then they are there talking and all that. Now you can't see it. You feel restless. Therefore, the child turns around. First time when he turns around and raises his head, wow, this is what everybody sees. Now he's so very happy because now he came out of that limitedness of seeing only what is there in the sky, everything around. Now, but everybody is walking. Now you are lying down, you can't walk. So see how child struggles. Now I can also go out like everybody else. But then everybody is walking, I'm crawling. No. You should also get up and walk. Everybody sees, even the dog and a cat in the house walks and I am lying down. Want to do that. See, every struggle is a struggle to become freedom. So to go towards that freedom is a nudge which is constantly there with us. Newspaper comes, dad reads, spends, don't touch me now, don't talk to me now because I'm finishing my newspaper. So important. And the child goes to the school only with one goal. I should also learn whatever dad is reading. He learns all the alphabets and then comes back home, looks at the newspaper, recognizes all the alphabets. A is there, B is there, C is there, D is there, everything is there. That's all. But I don't know why dad every day reads something. The same thing that is there. He just doesn't understand the fullness of dad. But later on, we also realized that every day is the same politics. Newspaper may be different. Characters may be different, but the politics is the same. And then nowadays, it's not the newspaper, it is the talk shows. Everybody talks together. That's what is one thing in talk shows. Absolutely meaningless. They make a crowd. They make money out of it. But all these things are to see that how I can expand, how can I grow. We've been trying. And then later on, a little more polished, people say that, yes, you are educated, then you'll be better. So you go to education, go to do all those kind of things. Yesterday I was telling that in, Women's Day celebration, I was a chief guest. I don't know why I was a chief guest. Totally upset. And that too, it's not one or two women. There are 1,000 women. My God. I said, look, you should have called my wife better because my wife is highly educated. Today's women standard, she is very highly educated. The number of alphabets she has there in her degree is more than my name. But anyway, I'm here with you. And then they also said one more thing. That is, somebody said that you should also have what is called a Men's Day celebration. I said, I told her, please don't advise that because I can challenge you, but don't tell your husbands what I've told. What is that? Is it if they would have been a Men's Day celebration, the arrangement would not have been as beautiful as you have done it. Men do not do all this and this. So all these things have to see that how education will give us the expansion, satisfaction. So that's what even learned people said. Swami Vivekananda himself said that expansion is life, contraction is death, education gives you expansion, all those things. But then we tried that. Then this is what Upanishad also says. Na karmana na prajaya dhanena tyagena ki amritattva manusha. See, that means we try to do good activities, this activity, so that what happens is that I spread. I want to become one with it. So all these things that we have tried, that's what is the idea of ataha. Now we tried, we have exhausted. Everything we have exhausted. Now I came to a level at the helpless position where, in spite of the fact I know all these things, I do all these things, I'm miserable. I don't have the freedom. So therefore, this is what is there. Atha, therefore. Now I tried so much, so many ways that I tried. Knowledge will give me, this will give me, that will give me, all those things I tried. But then, now, therefore, I came to you. Why I came to you, therefore, means this is one place where I see that there is a glimpse of it. I have experience of that. Glimpse of experience of glimpses that is there. So therefore I came to you. So atha, therefore, athato bhaktim vyakhyāsyāmah. Now this idea, vyakhyāsyāmah, is something which is very important. So far, I have only explored. In the other shastras, there is exploration. Like for example, jnana, Brahma Jignasa. Jignasa is intellectually explored. Then the Brahma. This is what is Badarana Brahma Sutra. It is Athato Brahma Vidyasa, Brahma Jignasa, Brahmadhyasyataha, Shastra Yonitvat. Like that it goes on. It's only inquiry into the intellectual way and find out what is Brahman. That's intellectually inquiry. This is what is Brahma Jignasa. Whereas another thing is that there is a way and then somebody guides you. That's what is yoga anushasana. Anushasana is not explaining it. Anushasana is that there is a discipline. This is what it is. Either if you follow, you get it. If you don't follow, you don't get it. It's like the way that cookbook. Cookbook gives an idea. Take these ingredients, put them together and all those things, and then the pudding comes out. That's a very simple way Patanjali puts it. Patanjali did not take any side of good or bad or right or wrong or anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, you do it. Anushasana. Whereas Narada says, Tato Bhaktim Vyakhyasya. Vyakhya means what? Vyakhya means there is something which is existing. I'm explaining about it. Why do I have to explain? Because it's there, but you're not seeing. It's there in your life, but you are not seeing. When I explain to it, when I enrich it, then suddenly you say, oh yeah, this is there. Oh, this, what you said is right. When does that expression come? When I give an explanation, elaboration of that. So Vyakhya is only elaboration. He is not creating bhakti. Please understand that. Narada is not creating bhakti. It's always there. But only thing is, it's all like this that the sun is already shining. Only thing is you have closed the windows. And then you say sun is not there, not coming and all those things. Then bhakti is, Narada is, you open the window. Oh, I'm so glad that you created the sun. I'm not created the sun. Sun is there already in your life. Only thing is open that window. There is one saint by the name Ram Katsu. He writes very beautifully. He says that I don't understand people what they do because they call it as window for the wind to come. They put a window to come, wind to come, and then they close it. Wind not to come. So that means they only have it and then they only deny it. They only denied. What is there in your life, you only denied. Bhakti is also like that. There's Ram Kapshu said that. Bhakti is also like this. It's in your life, but you denied it. You just put it aside. What is that we denied? It's there in our life. Now it becomes all the more curious. Right? And so many things that I tried. I tried books, I tried this, I tried reading, I tried by hearting, memorizing, giving the exam, certificates I got, all those certificates I got. But in spite of it, you say something that you are missing. I don't understand what you said. So therefore, that Athato Bhakti Vyakhyāsyama, it has few indications, that is, you already tried a lot. You are desperately in that path. I don't deny that you are not in that path. But then you thought that this will give the ultimate, that will give the ultimate, food will give me the ultimate, money will give me the ultimate, or injuring somebody will give me ultimate, protecting my ego gives me ultimate. This is all we have been trying. And then we see that it's not there. When it is not there, you jump from one to the another, to the third, to the fourth. And wherever that you reach, you meet with failure. Oh, this is not right. A fellow came to me and said that, look, I'm really desperately, I'm completely fed up with my wife. I think I need to, this in England. He came and said that I'm divorced. I'm listening to all those things, yeah, why don't you, if you want to be, and you also said that I want to devote my life to service to the God, service to this, service to that. I said, wonderful, you do it. Everything is fine. So therefore, and then she is so materialistic minded, she is not service minded, she is not helping minded, blah, 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 that she, all negative things for her, all positive things for him. Okay, fine. Then you are, and then start doing it. And said, everything is okay, but actually, there's another lady who is really interested in service. I want her to marry her. You see, you coming up one and then going back into another. So this is what we try. We try to see that this is a failure, that's one, that failure, third one, fourth one. We have tried enough. So therefore he says that Athato Bhaktim Vyakhyasya. With all those things, there is bhakti. He says that it's there already. Then let's do the Vyakya of it, elaboration of it. So we have been struggling, and the struggle is as natural, as simple as the way a river flowing towards the ocean. But then many times what happens is that river dries up on the way to the ocean. And the river says that, oh my God, I need to reach the ocean, but I'm drying up. What can I do? Then not only that, the sand is so hot, it doesn't allow me to flow. And I'm getting caught up in this and then miserable. And the wind is also blowing, curses the wind. Wind says, don't worry about it. I'm carrying in the form of steam. And then I'll put you into the ocean. I'll take you in the form of a cloud, put you into the ocean. What's your end? So there's always help that's coming, always direction that's coming. So this is what is Athato Bhaktim Vyakhyasya. What is that help? In what way is it coming? In what ways is it taking us towards that? That's what Narada is trying to give us. He never brought about God here. It's only the struggle that he has worked. And he has not given us any, it's so positive. That's what's the beauty of Narada. Everywhere he shows that positivity. Hold on to that positive. Fine. You said bhakti, but what is this bhakti? So this is what is the importance of sutras. Sutra is, they do not proceed without defining a term. That's what I said in Patanjali Yoga Sutra also. If he uses a term, he will not allow you to guess on that. He will want you to fix it on the particular meaning of that. So when he says Ishvara Pranidhanatva, he said, that means Ishvara. Ishvara, immediately everybody jumps at his own conclusion. Ishvara means Shiva, she's sitting on the Himalayas. Ishvara is, no, my Ishvara is Ganesha, somebody, my Ishvara is this, he is Kartikeya. No, don't guess, I'll give you a definition. You say, Klesha karma vipakashaihi parabhrishta purusha vishesha ishvara. Absolutely fixes all the, you can't now imagine anything. Because you are the Purusha, but then you are not Purusha, complete Purusha, but you are influenced by other things. So Purusha Vishesha, Vishesha Purusha, that means to say, what is that Vishesha Purusha? It's not influenced by anything. The pure, clear, clean crystal like you. And what are that which are influencing you? Klesha, karma, and then whatever that results of it, vipakasha, the bondage of that. Parabhushan. From that, if we are free, that's what is. So yourself, where there is absolutely no klesha, there is no karma, and there is no bandhanas, nothing is there. Purusha Vishesha, that's what is the. So that you hold on to, surrender to that. That's what he says, Ishvara Pranidhanatva. So that's what is our nature within us, not outside. Here also, when he says that Atato Bhakti Vyakhyashyama, now he would like to define that bhakti. In the next sutra itself, he defines the bhakti. Says, Sa tu asmin parama prema rupa. Sa tu asmin parama prema rupa. Prema is love, rupa, prema form. But what is the prema form? Parama prema rupa. It is enriched, ennobled. Sa, that. Now, earlier you said about bhakti. So therefore, that means bhakti. It's not about God. Sa is that bhakti. That bhakti is sa, tu. You see, tu and cha, these are the two pratyayas that you use it in Sanskrit, saying that. Because earlier we have tried all those things, that you put it on one side of the balance, other side of the balance, now you put this tu, tu cha, that's what is. This is what is. Now you see, what is that? Parama prema rupa. Asmin. That is Parama prema rupa. The supreme love is bhakti. Supreme love is bhakti. He did not say God. There is nowhere God. That means not there. But many translators, they said the supreme love for God is bhakti. They brought in God because they're afraid. They cannot take care of the words later on. Because you see, now you have to journey 88 sutras without that. It's very difficult with you. So therefore, they bring in God. Imagine that, later on I will explain about that, but just I'll touch it because already time is so. And that is, of this term, you see, if I'm introducing a term called bhakti, a new term called bhakti, I should introduce that term based on something which you already know. Now here in this particular sentence, if I say your supreme love for God or love for God, God is an unknown term. How can I introduce an idea based on some unknown term? I have to use known term. See, that's what is the simple logic about carrying you, making you understand is what you know. I need to take it from that. So in this sentence, what we know is love. Prema we all know. Now, only thing is that what is the difference between prema and bhakti? This is a parama prema. Enriched love is what is, ennobled love is bhakti. That's a very simple idea is given. Now the question comes how to enrich it. That's what later on sutras will come us to give idea. But bhakti in terms of prema is something that we can understand it. Because prema is, we know it from there. It's like the way that you're introducing somebody, my house. Where is Raghuram's house? You go straight and then there you take a left turn and there's a post office, the opposite post office house. Where is post office? Post office is opposite of Raghuram's house. Finish. Now where do you go? You don't know both of them. So I cannot introduce you to a term which is not known to you. A not known term is God. We don't know about God. Not only that, there's a big danger. We are never born with the concept of God. Nobody is born with the concept of God. You mean to say that everybody is Gnostic? No. See, Gnostic at least says God does not exist. Astic is God exists. But a child is neither Nastic nor Astic. Beyond all that. But then you are blissful at that time. So I have to take you from that level. So therefore, from that level that you know what is love. This many people, therefore, what they have said, they have done is, in the translations, I have umpteen number of commentaries translation, they also gave that he is talking about, what is called as Parama Prema Rupa is called as the Parabhakti, and there is Gaudi Bhakti. Hare Baba, I'm not even talking about any Bhakti, Gaudi, Para, and all those things. I'm taking you as a simple, ordinary human being. I'm taking. Why I need to take you? Because that's where basically from there we need to travel. First alphabets, we should understand that. That's why basically Narada gives this definition. Tasam Tasmai Parama Prema Rupa. In spite of the fact that it is from that level, but now the God concept comes into the picture. Why? We will get into that as we proceed. We stop it here. Thank you.
There are some questions. Anyone has questions?
Yeah. What is that, Amy?
No questions here.
Yeah. No questions there because last time I have not even touched the Bhakti. But this time I have touched it. At least first sutra. My wife was asking that. What? Whole day, 1 hour that you're taking about one sutra? I don't know what to do. It happens like that.
So this bhakti, concept of bhakti, more prevalent in the Indian subcontinent.
That's why I'm going to, that's why I started with that question that Sanatana belongs to the whole universe. So the bhakti you can see all over the world.
So when
Every tradition had it.
when Jesus Christ says love,
Yeah.
love thy neighbor, that's it.
The whole of Thomas A. Kempis is based on that. And in fact, if you go to Incas and Vicans, and if you go to Vicans, there's so much of bhakti practice. In fact, there is a reason why it has to be there. Also, that I will give in the next class. That's it, not that's it. To whom is not there. This is where the real hitch comes. We always consider the love towards something. So love towards something. We want to have an object. No, actually, it is your subject. In fact, I will come to that in class, but just to give an idea. See, every other path of yoga is subject oriented, isn't it? I have to grow into peaceful state of mind. I have to become this, I have to this. Why only Bhakti Yoga is in, the focus is outside? God towards somebody? See, is it not observed? Then you don't call it as yoga. Yoga is for the self. This also you focus to the self, not to the focus to the world also. Don't even to say that supreme love for oneself, even that oneself is outside. Again, the moment you put any object towards any verb, it becomes outside. We have to come back to subject.
So there's nothing about supreme love.
Yes, right. You cut the point. Actually, that's what I'm trying to try. Next class, that is the focus of my point. And then you will see that how abundantly useful that concept. Abundantly useful that concept. That's a very important thing. That's the crux of it. You know, I tell you honestly, for years I was studying why people don't understand that. It was so clear to me, but people don't understand that. Why do you want to have an about? You don't have to have an about. Your love for somebody, about something like this. Supreme love about God, about this. Why do you want to turn it to about? Will you turn back? which that's how I was thinking it, and slowly I developed all these ideas.
Discipline love.
Yes, and I will come to that to see that it's yours, not about. I tell you, when Bhakti Yoga lecture I gave in one of my very early travels, and you see, this Heidelberg University is the university where Max Muller was the head of the Department of South Asian Studies. And later on, when I went, there's one Fisher Barnicol, he was the professor and dean of that. And he was in my lecture when I first gave my lecture on Bhakti Yoga in Germany. And the next day he came to me directly, came to my house where I stayed. He was a 6 foot 3-4 inches and a heavy belt. Gave me a hug. He said, Raghu, please take this. This talk is need of the world. Give it to the world, this talk. Very important. He felt like that.
It's nicely you told about the river moving towards the ocean,
Yes,
the journey of the river.
right. It constantly struggles to reach. How many hurdles are there? It just tries to overcome. And some place it stagnates, but then in spite of it, it tries to flow again. Given a small little opportunity to continuously flow.
It's like, is it drawn towards the ocean?
Yes, drawn towards the ocean. Your consciousness drawn towards the ocean.
So everyone in the world is struggling.
Everyone?
In the world is struggling.
Yeah.
And in the struggle, you experience joy as well as sorrow.
Sorry? Huh?
During that struggle, you experience joy as well as sorrow.
Yes, the experience of joy. That's why actually the ultimate Brahman is nothing but bliss. But then we thought small little bliss comes, they say, oh, I'm in that direction. But then it shows that the direction, the journey may be about 1%, but the 99% is the struggle that's going on and going in different directions. Then you switch over to another, switch over to third. This is what Jalaluddin Rumi, he showed one beautiful example. He said that he took his disciple to one of the farmers. He said, look at this one. I said, how many holes he has driven? That's what happened. Every time he drives about 4 feet deep, 5 feet deep, no water is there. So another place, he digs another place, third place. So 20 places he digs about 5 to 10 feet. He didn't find water. At one place he would have dug, he would have gotten water there. So this is what happens. He said, this gives joy. No, that gives joy. The third gives joy because this is not giving joy. The object itself does not give you joy. So this is where basically our struggle is going on. That's why this ataha comes. Because you're tired of your struggle. You're tired of the struggle is good. You're struggling to get into the blissful state is good. But then means to which that you are struggling is something which is not founded. It's not fruitful. That's where we are lost.
In Patanjali Yoga Sutras also you used to put that center and periphery.
Yes. This is going back to the center, right?
It's like we are drawn to the center or
Yes.
we get distracted with us.
Right. Actually, that's in my stress classes, I keep telling that. You see, when you rotate a plate and then put something on the plate and rotate, the object on the plate always tends to go to the edge, not come to the center. The same way, we are being loosely kept on the plate, the world, and then we are being rotated. Then our tendency is always to go to the world outside. Oh, that gives me, this gives me, that gives me. I'm trying to go out. Because the tendency is like that, everybody is like that, so I'm also going like that. We never try to come back to the center. Moment you come back to the center, then there's no moment, you are just peaceful.
But you
See,
have not experienced with center or
center, there is no struggle at all. See, when you are at the center, there's no moment.
but you have not experienced.
See, peace means struggle not being there. When you are at the periphery, struggle is there. See, this is what periphery you are there, you are doing. Center you are being. Come to the being, there is no doing. This is what is exactly the principle of, Dervish dance, whirling monks. They roll round and round and round. Then it's like the beautiful example of a top. See, when a top is properly balanced, you don't see it's moving at all. It's just exactly at that center. This is the principle. That's why if normally you go round and round, after about 10 rounds you get giddiness. And this Dervish dancers, they go round and round for a couple of hours, and then at the end of it they just stand. They don't have anything. Because Dervish. This is
Sufi dance.
Sufi dance. Yes. Sufi dance and Sufi ne. I have great friends in the Sufi dance actually.
What are they? How are they? Why are they not feeling giddy?
Why are they not?
Feeling giddy.
Because they're absolutely in the center line. See, if you look at center line, everything else is rotating. The center line is just same. It's like the day the axle is there, the wheel is rotating. They are in the axle. They are not influenced by the gyration. By the
When you say mind is centered, is it?
Whole body is also along the center line. If you see the Darwish dance, if you actually look at the Darwish dance, they keep one hand like this, one hand like this, and then they have a big gown. So when they rotate, that these two appliances, the hands and the gown, maintains them to see that they do not shift from that center. Not even a second, or not even a millimeter. It's a very famous. That's how it's a centering is the part. See, one of the most important Dervish places, saint, is Jalaluddin Rumi. You know that Rumi, and Rumi's birthplace is Konya. So first time when I went to Turkey, I quoted profusely from Rumi. They said that you talk more Rumi than we talk. You understand Rumi much better than we do. Then next time in the Rumi's case, that birthday celebration, they invited me as a chief guest. So I went to Turkey. I went to Konya. Konya University, Rumi's university, they invited me to give a talk. I gave the talk and all that. Evening, they organized iftar. Iftar is a special meal. I said, why did you organize iftar for me? Because I don't eat meat. And I'm a pure vegetarian, you hardly have anything to it. No, we made a special arrangement for you. Because the mayor is coming. Mayor of that place is coming, so you are the chief guest there. So nice way that they organize this iftar dinner. Oh, the 120, 150 items. All that was there, it was nice and everything was going on. Then I told this girl who was there with me, translated, she said, what a wonderful opportunity for me. Rumi's birthday, Rumi's place Konya, and then I gave talk in that Konya University, and then now iftar in this place, and then the governor is also the mayor is also there, all the dignitaries are there. Everything is set. Only thing I'm missing is the Dervish dance. That one is not there. She said immediately, Raghuram, don't worry about it. Anywhere the Dervish dance goes on, I will take you to that. We'll go there and see that. I was happy about that. But we almost like we finished the dinner. At the time, some people came and rolled down the Turkish carpets. Huge carpets, and then line of 6 carpets. Said, what? They're putting this carpet. Then this Dervish dancers came. Wow, I could get to see the Dervish dance also today. So beautiful. And then they came and then going round and round and round. And then together with that, there is a flute-like instrument called as ney. That also is something which I really love very much. So this ney and then Dervish dancers say, I told the lady that I'm so lucky that I could see even this also. She also said to the mayor that Raghuram is very happy that he could get to see it. Then he said, no, it is honor that we provided this dance. My honor that they oh my God. And that dancers and then that Nay fellow were my students for a long time. They used to like my ideas and all those things. So there I've seen an hour, they were just going round and round and round and round. After 1 hour, they just stopped. Very peaceful, like somebody coming out of meditation.
Is it really a meditative state, sir?
Yeah, it's a meditative state.
Yeah.
Real meditative state is where you are centering yourself. That means you are not going. You see, what happens is the periphery is always subjected for gravity. Center is not subjected for gravity. Center is free from gravity.
So there is actual meditative state.
Yeah. It's an actual meditation. In Sufi meditation.
So
That's
can
why-
we tell that when we touch that,
Sorry?
they have touched the heart?
Huh? They
They're in the center.
they'll be, that means to say their whole focus is on the center. Body will be going around, the gown will be going around.
The idea doesn't mean I have touch the inner self.
Hmm? Sorry?
Do they touch their inner self?
Yeah, they touch their innocence or they touch their position, which is not touched by anything in this world outside. Nothing in this world outside at that moment is touching them. Like, for example, a singer, his childhood, born singer, and then ecstasy when he's singing that. Nothing in the world outside touches him. He is absolutely focused on that singing, nothing else is there. He's in that meditation. That's what Taittiriya Upanishad says. Gandharva Vidya is that. Deva Gandharvana Amananda. That's what is the state.
Thank you.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.